Start recording. Good morning and welcome out to the Market Watch Group Weekly Market Prep. Happy Sunday, everybody. If you're in the Southeast, our thoughts are with you. He will be joining us by phone soon. He's okay. Thank you, Bob, for the update. I think he's the only one. Is that right? Is anyone else near there? Let me know. All right. What are we doing today? We're reviewing the disclaimers. Educational, illustrative purposes only. We're not brokers or advisors. We don't give advice or recommendations. Our agenda. Market posture. I think stability. I don't think the expectation is it's going to increase, right? That wasn't my expectation, but I also didn't think there was any expectation of a decrease. So yeah. Okay. Georgia. Oh, Gray Lynn is in Georgia. So it could be bad. My daughter flew in. She was in Virginia, but she flew into North Carolina. And she was out to visit. It was her going out to visit her boyfriend who plays soccer. They canceled the game in Carolina because of the rain. So that's how far north it went. Bad rain. Anyway. All right. We'll look at the economic calendar. It's first week of the month, so it's employment. We will talk about our sector coverage. We don't typically have a lot of time for searching, and so we've been kicking searching to Tuesday nights. And I need to make that just like a regular part of the Tuesday night routine so that there's always a search going on. So, mental note. But in the meantime, today what we want to do, Sundays what we want to do is identify, is there a sector in the market that's showing favor that we don't feel like we have good coverage on, right? That's what we're looking for. We'll do some watch list maintenance. We bounced a couple of things this week. I can't remember what they were. I don't often make a note when I get rid of things. It's just like keeping the watch list up to date. We'll create an early week opportunity list. I definitely think we're going to have signals showing up. So we should definitely be ready. And we are moving into the last section of the trading plan. So if you didn't get as much work on this pass as you would have liked, well, we're going to start a new pass. If you're already gone through a few passes, then maybe you're not really following the cycle anyways. You might be prioritizing and emphasizing specific components of your trading plan. However, I would say if you're in your first 3 years of trading, you should be doing trading plan work weekly. If you're in your first year, definitely, right? Like it will eventually stop. It's not like I'm like, oh, I still work on my trading plan every week. I don't. But there are times that I'm working on it still, right? It's not like I never work on it. It's just I don't have a cadence, right? Once you get it to a certain place, it starts to, and you recognize that it's now becoming habit. Then you just sort of evaluate it. You're not working on it. I mean, you are because you're implementing it and making notes. And then, every quarter you sit down and you say, all right, let's put some time into it. It's not weekly or even monthly. It's quarterly. And then it becomes maybe biannually. Okay, let's hit it. Right to the first priority. I can do math. I know today's the 29th, 27th. Where did that come from? Okay, let's start. Let's just dive in. Let's get to it. First question. Steven typically does. Does anyone already have it scored for this week? Did you already score? Let me know if so. Oh, where is everybody? We only have a handful of people today. Maybe it's the weather. Shouldn't be the conditions. Partially good enough. You're thinking about it. Let's kick this to the long term. Again, it's not like I'm asking with like judgment, like it should be. I don't score before I come. Like, this is not like, hey, let's do it together. This is like, I'm doing it for the first time after I did it for the first time Friday for a preview. I didn't come in and score it. So if you're waiting, yeah. What I would say is when we get here, jump in front of me. So even if it's 30 seconds, as I'm yapping, which I am prone to doing, you guys know this, just jump into your chart and be like, you know what? You might even guess at what I'm going to score it and then what you're going to score it. Love that. Something where you're kind of pushing yourself and not just watching, but you're proactively participating. So get in front, be like, yeah, I think he'll be this. I think I'm this. This is where I think you'll find that the way you understand the market as you kind of walk through that little narrative will expand greatly. Like, it really will have you thinking like, oh, well, what would make him or I change? And anyway, that's just a challenge. No change for me on this one. It's right there. I'm getting closer. Right now, it's like we had this higher low to get us back into the green. So we were like, okay, we didn't score it. We dropped it here, gave it back, didn't drop it. But we have to have an expectation. Quick update. I deleted that Epic Pen. I used to love it so much, and then it's got worse and worse. I'm going to go find a new pen program, but I don't have a pen program right now, so I just have to move my mouse. I don't know how accurate that is. Anyways, I'll find one soon. I'm making a note to myself. Okay. That is one thing about not using Zoom. I don't miss Zoom. I love Discord and what it gives, and I hope you guys are enjoying Discord. I hope we continue to expand our usage of it, but I do miss the drawing tools. They were easy. What do we know here? And what am I building to? It's got to go. It's got to get up. We're so close to the bottom of this thing. We haven't gotten near the top for quite a while, since April. We got close in July, and then we're just like, can't get up there. So that trend is not going to hold. If we get up a little higher, my thought process is, do I start thinking about a new line that really cuts across the top of these? And then I would be like, what does that look like? I'd say that looks steeper than purple, maybe. Let's see what this looks like. Now, let me duplicate this line here. Duplicate this trend line. Yeah, so you can see that if we get up a little higher to like that level and then we bounce back down off of it, that's where I'll be like, okay, this thing's not getting up. Maybe the doldrums wait until after. You know what? If it bounces down, I'm going to score it as I see it. See it, score it. See something, score something. That's our policy. We don't score thoughts or beliefs or feelings or emotions. But if you see it, you score it. I think we're weeks away from that, though. Interestingly, though, Clint, right? Like, it could go up and then hit and then pull back. But that's still a 1.25. That's still a 1.25 instead of a 1.5. That's all it would be. This red line, The purple one way back here was when we were a 1, I believe. Yeah, way back there was a 1. Then we became a 1.25. Then we became a 1.5. So that's the strengthening of the trend. If it eases a little bit, okay, we'll ease it. But for now, I'm keeping it where it is. As is Bob. Steven, drive safely. We're thinking about you. We hope you have power. We hope you're staying dry. Let's talk about the short term. Let's move this down. I agree. Clint says still moving up, no big move. Yeah, we haven't seen anything. In fact, just further talking about that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's this expiration was the Friday that marked the separation. We got just a little higher. Just went from here to here. Interestingly, though, we were right at the same place we were at the high for last week. So we don't see sellers. That's one thing we know. We don't see sellers. Technically, we're in the selling cycle. Look at your stochastics. This is technically like the seller's cycle. From this point especially, and you can see that it's just, there's been no sellers. Is this a full... Now you can see over here, we had something similar. And then right here, it kicked in for the last little bit right there, right? Holding, drop, and then boom. Okay, so, I still think we could see the same thing where this pulls back. But at the same time, should we be thinking there's flag patterns showing up right now and bullishness showing up right now? Have we seen bullishness in different sections of the market kind of shifting? Yeah. So we have a wide variety, a breadth of opportunity. How do we score this? Unchanged for me. Unchanged. And you'll notice we have the makings of a channel. I'm going to, Graylin says, agreed. Yes. Thank you, Graylin. Love it. I feel like, if I could find my drawing, there we go. Let's draw a channel. I'm not going to leave this one because I'm sensitive to the fact that we have a lot of lines. I recognize that. You guys, it's only one chart. It's only one chart. I get a lot of lines on one chart. This feels like it's kind of shaping up. I'm just going to leave my mouse on it so you can see it. This kind of feels like that's what's shaping up right now. Do you agree? Right? We see a big push from the buyers. Seller, then it pauses, then a pullback, then a big push from the buyers. Please discuss how you picked the point A for that blue line, oldest low for the left. The blue line. Is it the purple line? Is it this one here? These here. I actually drew the top one first, just kind of looking to connect bodies. Boom, boom. There's a high, there's a high, there's a high, there's a high. So there I connected points. And then when it connected and it dropped, all I did was kind of find this low here and this, and it just sort of, again, I'm just trying to find what makes sense. I'm not going to actually leave this here because we don't know yet. It could still go higher, but if we were to move into that, let's just go back to this. Let's just assume we agree this is the level. How would we want to score that? I actually feel like we're maybe a little too high for that. That looks more like 1.25 ish. It's not very steep, that channel, right? That's what I'm thinking about right now. Look at this channel back here. That's much steeper than this one right here when you look at the angles. So it's bullish, right? So that's what I'm thinking about is about the same slope as the green, but the green is long term. The green is on a 2-point scale, and this is short term on a 3-point scale. So if it's about the same, you would actually score it a little lower, right? And if the green is a 1.75, then we would say 1.5 or 1.25. I think you're 100% right, Bob. That's a great anchor to attach our analysis to and say, hey, we scored this angle on the long term this way. We definitely couldn't score it as strong on the short term because the short term has more weight. So the same angle can't be as strong. Oh, love it. Okay. For now, I'm not going to change it. That's the bottom line is nothing's happened. I don't know yet if we're going to keep going higher and have actually a little bit steeper. If this gets up into this area, that changes, and I have a different trajectory to measure. So, but here's the thing. So yeah, that wouldn't be much of it. If I eased back, this would ease back to 1.25. This would ease back to 1.5 or 1.25. A 5 is a good score. Right? If you ever remember a time when we were just sitting around at like a 1 or a 2, when you see a 5, it feels like sunshine and roses, right? When you've been feeling some real good bullishness, then 5, you're like, I'd really like to see it get into a 6, 6.5. Yeah, unchanged. I think we're in a good place. We're not sure. Here's what I think, and I have the same concern that Clint has, is that there's a bit of a, fall doldrums, maybe still just pervasively holding the market a little bit. The Fed is bullish. It likes the economy. It's cooperative. We just got another inflation report that could contribute to another. Press is here. I didn't even see he showed up, but I see he's typing. The conversation's about to step up 1 degree just because Press showed up. He's probably going to make a really insightful comment or question right now. So that's my thought is whether it's just kind of like there's just a little bit of that like we're not sure yet, and then it kicks into gear. I'm definitely pushing bullish. I want to get chips on the table when I can. Anyway, that's my thought. Unless Press comes out and he says something different, then I might reevaluate. Volume. Let's get to the volume. So I got to see my daughter. I told you guys this last week just for a little bit, and now I get to see her. This is what we get to do. My wife and I have her car. So the airport's north of us, and then she's north of that. So we basically are going to drive her car and our car to the airport, meet her on the curb, let her get her car, give her a hug, and then that's it. And then she takes her car north. So I'll literally get to see her for like 7 minutes. Ugh. That doesn't seem right. Not even dinner. Here we go. Beyond market sentiment. If the longshoremen strike on October 1st, could that be a market disruptor? That's a great question. I don't know if I have a good frame of reference to look to kind of look at that, I'm gonna put that to the group. Anyone know? Anyone have insight? I mean, you know, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. That tends to be our thought process. If it starts to show up, we'll see it start to show up. If it cracks it, we'll know. But that's a great question, Press. How long it lasts, right? Yeah, I don't know what like impact that has. And then what that might, yeah, great question. Let's toss that around a little bit. Let it percolate. Let's see what happens. Let's discuss it. Okay, let's talk about volume. How about that? I don't have drawing tools, so let's just go. Let's go sellers first. Okay, sellers first. I don't want to draw anymore. Sellers 1, 2. No. I mean, that's tough. I think we said a half, right? We gave that a half. I'm gonna say 2.5. Does that feel right? 2.5 selling days. How many do you get? Now I'm going to go to buying. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay, but hold on. I just sort of bypassed this one. Do we give this one and this one each a half so they equal 1? I feel okay with that. Thoughts? I mean, you can see this one only dropped from here to here. That was not much of a drop. This one dropped from here to here. If you add those two together, it's a pretty good drop. Then I would say yes. Still, the two of those don't equal this gain. This was a bigger gain. So I feel like, yes, that's what I'm going to go. 3 selling days, 4 buying days. 3 because I have 2 halves. Give me your thoughts. For me, that's a solid 0.25. Solid 0.25. Steven said one of the buying only hit 4.62. Which day is that? I don't see that day. Buying, yes, that's definitely above average, 54 to 62. Clearly this one is. Is it this one? $48 million to $52 million. No, that's good. That's good. I think they're all good. I have four buying days, all clearly above 5% above. Then I have these 2 halves, and then this one and this one. Both of these are going to fall off next week. This one will still be there. This one will still be there, but it'll be at the very, very left. Next week we'll have 1, 2, 3 to 1, 3 to 1. If we discount the last one, I don't know. Maybe we. I think at that point, I think I could see it veer towards. If we don't get a selling one this week, I could see it bump itself up organically to a 0.5. What I want you to notice too is we are starting right now. If we do a sanity check, we're going from here 557 to here 571. That's a 14 point. That's a 3% upturn despite this last little bit. But next week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next week, it's going to look like this. plus whatever we have. What's your sanity check going to be? 540 to 570. That's a 30 point in that period of time. Yeah. So if we see one buying day, clearly it's going to a half of a point. If we don't see any selling days, it might go to a half of a point. I think the volume looks pretty solid. And any thoughts? Let me know. Let's move it. Let's score it. So that's it. No change. We're pretty solid at this level. We have been for 3 weeks. That's pretty good stability. Remember, one of the things we've been asking is, do we think there's a chance for another dip like we saw last year at this time? Well, last year at this time, we only saw the market uptick for like 2 or 3, 4 weeks at most. Right now, we're at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've been 8 weeks of just steady improvement. That feels stable, yes? Okay. By the way, press, since you read on it, do you have any thoughts or speculation as to what the longshoreman strike may do in your reading? Okay, major market. Let's go talk about the major market. Okay. What do we see on this chart? We see an uptrend. We see the NASDAQ leading, not surprisingly. S&P in second position. Russell in third position, Dow lagging. That's a classic bullish 200-day chart. We've been through some things. We got through this thing here. We had this craziness over here where we accelerated and then corrected and then got back onto the... You'll notice if I were to draw a line from here and just keep going, it just keeps on going like this, right? And it just... This was a little bit too fast. This was a little bit too slow. And this is the Goldilocks line right down the middle. Okay. Does it maintain that, though? 133. NASDAQ top. S&P second. Russell third. I wouldn't say the Dow is lagging. It's in fourth. It's certainly not showing defensiveness, right? Let's go down to 66 days. Now on 66 days, look at that. Russell. It's like, hey, I'm moving. Whoa. Well, here we go. On a journey. I'm not sure what's going on here. That is quite a journey. And we're back to now. Oh, goodness. It is. That's like when you're, you want to like see those videos where they're getting ready to cut some kind of animal and then it starts moving. Like it has like a muscle twitch. People are like, oh, it's alive. 66 days. Yeah, look at that. Post-Fed. What happened? Russell moved into a leading position, pre-Fed and post-Fed, and it's maintained that. Now, interestingly, the Dow is in second position and the NASDAQ's in last place. How do we analyze that? I don't. I mean, it's weird. I don't analyze it as defensive, and that would be my only concern if I see the Dow trying to move into a leading position. It moved into a secondary position, but the Russell is leading. So, okay. Scoring it with the NASDAQ showing weakness and the Russell showing strength, I feel comfortable keeping a half. I'm not going to put it to a 0.75 unless I have both NASDAQ and Russell in a leading position. They both have to be there. It doesn't get to a 1 until it's there over multiple time frames. So I think a 0.5 is indicative of what we have. It's bullish. It's not overly bullish, right? I'm keeping mine at a 0.5, unchanged. Let me know how you're seeing it. I would love to hear your scores. Meanwhile, I am going to jump into, and I want you to notice that even as we're talking about the scores, we're just talking about the implications. We're like, hey, yeah, we recognize that the NASDAQ showed a little bit of weakness, but as that happened, the Russell showed strength. And so it wasn't like we shifted from a strong position to a defensive position. It sort of shifted sideways to a different set of strength. And now if we see the NASDAQ pick back up, then we're right back where we want to be. Bob's like, just wait. These damn utilities throwing everything off in my sector rotation. You know I can't just adjust to took me years to adjust to healthcare not being defensive after Obama. I can't adjust to utilities becoming a growth. It's like everyone's fighting for energy. Okay. Let's get to it. Where is it? Where are you? There you are. Wait, did we do the 22? We didn't. 1 second. I mean, we didn't need to, but we like to look. And what do we see here? Now we see the NASDAQ back up top. We still see the Dow in second. Now we see the Russell in last. And so it's like, okay, just some shuffling, but shuffling at around a 0.5. It's not shuffling at a 0.75 where you're like, damn, look how strong it is. It's shuffling like it looks bullish. It's shuffling bullishly. It's not defensive. It's not weakening. It's a 0.5. That's how I see it. Okay. Let's go sectors. Oh, utilities, you bastards. Yeah. It's strong. It's leading. Utilities is leading the bull market right now with communication services. Then we also have financials. Then we also have industrial. So the thing is I am prone to just like I am prone to like, do we give that? I mean, that's 3 growth, 1 defensive, and defensive is with an asterisk. Like it does feel increasingly like that's not a defensive utilities. That's a, hey, this country is we can't lead in AI. We're not leading in crypto. I think that, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather lead in AI than in crypto. I think crypto has very limited purposes, whereas AI is vast. So, but that's a lot of electricity, and that might be where we are. Like, I need to, you know what I need to do? I need to have a conversation with ChatGPT about this. If you haven't noticed, it now has conversation mode, and you can choose like the voice. I choose like this, like New Zealand voice. He sounds adventurous. So when we have a conversation, he speaks to me in that, and we have a conversation. It's fabulous. Literally amazing. I can't even tell you. All right. Where was I before I got distracted? Okay, where's everybody else? Staples is still defensive. That's down here. I mean, what is defensive now? It's like, is anything? What do we... Discretionary is moving back up. Energy's down. Okay, let's keep moving through it. Oh, goodness gracious. Look at that. That is so bullish looking. I mean, utilities is leading everything. Why am I so reluctant to trade utilities? I think I need to have I'm going to include this in my conversation. ChatGPT is my therapist too. Um, let's think about this indeed. I mean, that is hugely leading. All right, I'm going to break down. I always do this. And I'm always late. So that's why I'm reluctant, but let's do it anyways. Let's maybe find a couple of utility companies this week. We'll put them on the list. I don't know. Upcoming data center energy demand. It's funny. There's an enormous military data. So we have like a Air Force base out here. We have a Army Reserve base. They do a bunch of munitions testing out in the mountains behind my house. But there's a huge data center. Huge. That they say has actually made, like, it's not my city, it's the next city over, so it's like I'm fine with it, but they're like, it's technically a target. Like a bombing target. Interestingly. The nuke energy stocks jumped big. Okay. Here it is. AI, cloud services, crypto, nuke energy stocks. Okay. I love it. I've been reading about small modular reactors for quite a long time. There's little things that are like $5 million and they're just like self-contained and could power a city for like 20 years or something. Is that what you're talking about, Press? Those are super cool. Cool as hell. So cool. Oh my God. Please. So this right here does not need to be a Sunday discussion. This can be an ongoing, this is what it should look like. In our chat channels, right? Like this is representative. You all are now tasked with that. You are the leaders of us moving these conversations and having them. We're sharing information and seeing like some of these things. Thank you, Miguel. Miguel's in. We're all in. Make it happen this week. We're all going to make a concerted effort. Look how productive. This is where you can, right now, here's something to think about. Like, we're always going to have our list. We're always going to have our list, which is going to be high liquidity things. But there's always those more obscure finds that we want to have that you talk about, where you're like, hey, I'm just going to put some money in this thing. And it's right where you find opportunities that are a little bit more obscure. Anyways, okay, let's finish. 66 days. And there's utilities still at the top, followed by financials and industrials and materials, discretionary back in the game. Discretionary's past staples on the short term. And who's down here? Technology and energy. I don't know what to make of all this, you guys. Materials is going to be gold, plastics, gypsum, chemicals, right? And then industrials is going to be like your big, like your John Deere's and your engines and your machineries and your, things like that. You can go in, if you just go in, press to Yahoo, and you type in XLI versus XLB, and then go to the holdings, it'll show you the top 10. So you can just kind of see like, oh, okay, that's what makes this up. The top 10 gives you such a great representation. We can do that tomorrow as a group, or not tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday as a group. That's always an interesting thing to just kind of explore. So I mean, it expands like, you always hear like, oh, people talk about these groups. Well, what's the top? And you can go in and see it. So you're like, yeah, that makes more sense. I'm not changing my score. I mean, I'm going to leave it as partially bullish. I feel like you could argue to go 0.5 with utilities leading the way, but I'm having a hard time with that. I'm going unchanged. Anybody moving theirs? Yeah. It's easy to be like, oh, it's a pretty boring week. Everything's unchanged. Everything is unchanged at a 5.5. That's not boring. That's bullish. Don't mistake those things. Here's the VIX. That was a little concerning. Yeah? A little concerning. Bob, we'll go take a peek at that. We'll go get a look at that here. A little concerning because it turned, but at the same time, I mean, we said, hey, look, if you're down here and you're thinking about a hedge before the weekend, if you did it, I hope you got it on down here between 15 and 16, not at 17, right? That point cost a lot in a hedge, a lot. I am looking at this, reading it as a lower high. Yes, but not yet. I agree. But we don't know where its high is yet. It's still going up. But if it goes up and it stalls and then starts to roll 100%, that's a lower high. That will push me to be more aggressive. Remember, that lower high is something we would score bullishly. Right now, what are we doing with the score? Nothing. We already scored the lower low. We already scored the fact that we took out this low and have a lower low. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we were here. We scored the lower low here. We don't score it a second time. So for me, I don't score it a second time. I'm staying at a 1.25. I already moved my score. If I get the lower high, it goes to a 1.5. If it gets another lower low, 1.75, and that's about as good as it gets, right? Remember, this is out of a 2-point scale. It takes a lot. Where's Sandy, by the way? I hope she's okay. She knows how much it takes for me to get to a full score, a maximum score. So that's what happens. Is I think we're at the right place with that 1.25. I'm unchanged. 5.5. 2 weeks in a row and we agree. All right, let's just take a quick temperature check and then we'll go through the watch list and then we'll do a quick search and we'll call it a day. Trading plan 2. All right, we've got a few things, but I actually feel like we're in a good place. I'm a 5.5. Sounds like Bob and okay. So who's the highest? Is Michael here? Michael, I believe, is usually around a 6. I wonder if anyone is there or if he's still there. Is anyone higher than a 5.5? Let me know. And give me your score. Is anyone lower? I thought someone was 5.25. I can't see anyone higher than 6 or lower than 5. But for those of you who are here, let me know. Is that right? I feel like it was like 5.25 to 6 last week with like about a 5.6 or so. Anyways, okay. Sandy might be. I thought Sandy was with us last time, but hard to say. Only have on long call positions, did not hedge. Got it. Okay. Let's go look at that watch list and see what's cracking. Apple. Gray Lens 5.5. I think that's kind of the big score. Is Apple trying to break out of this flag? I think it broke this consolidation, got up here, now it's pulling back. If it can convincingly turn above the 50, I think it's still viable. It's still helping lead. Apple's definitely helping lead technology back into position. Aflac is strong out of financials, could have already taken it, and could theoretically make an argument for it still. Amazon is setting up. You know I love this. You know I want to take another shot at this. I am good all the way to the 50 and maybe even all the way to this line. I don't think it's going to come that far, but we'll see. AXP, we actually talked about this on Friday and built a trade, and so some people took it already. I'm going to put it out today just kind of as a preemptive alert for tomorrow, or maybe I'll just put it out first thing in the morning. I don't know. But yeah, that looks very viable for a trade right there. Right? A little pullback, started to turn. Stochastics is turning. Buyers accelerating. But put that on the list. Even still, Bank of America on the list. This one looked good, and then it kind of eased back. You can see it's pinching, but hasn't turned yet. Yeah, BAC. BK, put it on the list. There's plenty of opportunity in financials this week. So I've already earmarked financials as a sector that I like. BLDR. You want to know what's funny, you guys? Let me see. I had this thing ready to go. And then it pulled back. Come on. Give me my alerts. I had this ready to go with an entry at 194.85, and I want you to notice where we ended up. 194.25. I was watching the high of this, and I just eased up. You'll notice this, it turned sideways, but didn't. So there you go. I was thinking about it. I was looking at it, but I didn't pull the trigger yet. What were your concerns? I didn't get the trigger, but I love the setup. Beautiful buyers, higher high. Light sellers, higher low. Just not convinced that they're coming in yet. But that's on my list for sure. BLDR, Carrier, very similar, same. So here's industrials. What do we have? We have BLDR, materials that are, actually don't know exactly. Let me go back. BLDR, BLDR is manufactures, supplies, materials, manufactured components, construction services to professional. So they have lumber sheets, plywood, broad products, manufactured products, trusses, floor trusses, wall panels, stairs, engineered. Okay. So that's what they do. Siding, exterior trim, cement, roofing, insulation. They do all kinds. And just to make sure we're good on the industrials. Carrier obviously does air conditioners. HVAC. Okay. But obviously I like it. I like Carrier as well. I like not Caterpillar. Caterpillar, we're waiting for a pullback. CL. Okay. I mean, it hiccuped. It's got to go. It's got to go. It's got to go or it's gone. CMG. I like CMG with consumer. So I'm going to keep that looking good. Costco. Ooh. I'm a little iffy on Costco. Did I go over CL? Yes. My take is it was a hiccup. Never broke support. I've shifted. At this point, it's got to go or it's going to fail. And we'll see what happens on Monday. It's do or die. Oh, that's a good one, Miguel. Oh, that's a good one. Love it. Well done. Am I wrong that this should be what's happening in our chats? It doesn't have to only be that we hang out here, but we just kind of pop in. Come on. That was fabulous. What are we at? Diamonds. Diamonds are... The Dow looks strong. Fastenal, just waiting for a pullback, but I mean, included on the list. You're starting to get close to earnings, though. Bitcoin's had a bit of a rally, interestingly. Gold. I think we should put gold. Look, it's moving. I'm getting ready to purchase some bars of silver. I don't know if I'll buy. It's a lot for a little ounce of silver from Costco. You can get for like 2,600 or whatever it is. I'll probably buy like 5-ounce bars of silver. It's a couple $100. Waiting for a pullback indeed. GM. It feels real sideways now. It doesn't have much trend to speak of. I'm actually ready to kick it. Google. I kind of like Google. I feel like this was a V and we're trying to come out of the V. So I don't know. I'm gonna mark myself like yes. Google is an okay one for me. Goldman kind of sideways like GM, right? Where you're just like, I don't know. I kind of feel like kicking that off the list, actually. There's too many good ones. Home Depot. I think Home Depot is strong. It's not really buyable now, but if it pulls back, this is a good stock right there. The Russell looks okay. JPM. I'm not loving these. I think we have better stuff in the financials, so I'm kicking those. KKR, that looks good. KKR is still strong. Definitely need a pullback in Home Depot. You're not wrong. Coca-Cola has been stalled sideways. See if this thing is going to kick up a little bit. We've seen a little bit of stalled sideways across the defensive areas of the market. MasterCard has some bullishness to it. McDonald's, bullish but needs a pullback. Needs a pullback. No one likes spicy Coke. That's hilarious. Coke with all their different things that they try. Meta looks strong. I'm looking for a flag on Meta. MMM, no. Morgan Stanley. I still like Morgan. Microsoft, put it on the list. Oh, NDAQ was a decent trade, right? If you did it, I hope you pulled some profit out of it. And now what? And now it looks like it's setting up again. NDAQ. Netflix also is looking bullish. Nvidia is looking bullish. It only gave a little run, but that's all it needs to start things back up again. PGR still looks pretty good for financials from the insurance arena. PLTR, I'd like PLTR and would trade coming out of this consolidation. Tesla's bullish but needs a pullback. I'm going to wait there. TSM, bullish and pulling back. That's a big one though, but we'll see. Let's give it. I kind of blended my communication services and technology on my notes. I got to change that up. UNP, what a disappointment you were. UNP. USB, The dollar still low. The VIX, we'll see what it does this week. Walmart, I am bullish on Walmart. Quickly running through XLB. You can see materials still bullish. Communication services still bullish. Energy, not so much. Financials, a little cup and handle type pattern. Industrials, still bullish. Technology, kicking back into gear. Staples, slowing down. Utilities, strong as hell. Healthcare down a little bit. Staples, consumer discretionary. Look at that. Look at consumer discretionary. I would say we need to search consumer discretionary and utilities. Let me know if you agree, if you think I'm missing something. Let's make a mental note. Utilities and discretionary. That's this week's searches. Okay. Okay. Just got a tank filled at 294. That's amazing. Love that. Definitely utilities, Grayland, right? We got to get a few from the list there. Okay. Let's do a couple of things real quickly. Number one, the trading plan. Where are you, trading plan? We're down here. Improvement strategies. What are we thinking about? Goals. If you want an outcome goal where you say like, I want to make X percent, great. One goal. The focus here, process goals. What are your process goals? Improving something. Better at entering, better at exiting, better at holding, better at building trades, be better at something. That's what your goal should be. Keep records of your goals. Think about the SMART goal process: specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable, timely. Set a goal, set the timeline, define the steps. This is a hard one, right? Maybe this is one that we could, work on as somewhere in the channels as a group. I would love to see a couple of goals people share with the group that they're putting. Maybe as a goal you have improving one section of your trading plan at a time. Your prioritization is in there. Okay. What else? Real quickly, let's take a look at the economic calendar so we know what's ahead of us. We don't care about the Fed right now. We already have a sense of the Fed. We'll go look at that in just a second. What do we have? We have job openings. Again, 7.7 million is still higher than we ever were pre-pandemic. It's not in a bad place yet. We have ADP employment. We don't know what their expectations are yet. We have jobless claims, and then we have non-farm payrolls. Again, it's steady. It's not. We don't see weakness. We don't see jobless claims climbing. We don't see monthly payroll reports declining. We see it holding steady. As long as that happens, we're good. And now we know we have the Fed with a 0.5 point. And we're pretty sure we're going to get another 1/4 point at least next one. So even if we do see some weakness, knowing that the Fed is in front of it, that puts us in a good place for the fall, you guys. Like I'm feeling like things are, we've got some tailwinds, right? That's what we're seeing here. Quickly, let's just look at what the expectations are. And you can see it's better than not. We were wrong. We were all pretty conservative with the Fed. Jer Bear surprised us. If I were to speculate what happened, I would say that my man Austin, Dr. Austin Goolsbee, was able to convince him. This feels like Goolsbee's work, if you ask me. Goolsbee for Fed. Okay, let's go do a search real quickly. How do we do a search? I'm going to show you. Real quickly. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go into my resources channel. I'm going to go to the search. I'm going to scroll up. Where are you, Mr. Search? Am I in the wrong one? Major market. There it is. Basic search parameters. Click it. Bam. Now, this is my basic search. Does this search agree with us that we should be bullish? Well, there's 400 stocks. Yes. If you only found 100, 150 stocks for the full parameters of this, you should reevaluate if you should be bullish or not. If you're like, I'm bullish. And then it's like, well, why can't you find any bullish stocks? That doesn't make sense. Sanity checks exist throughout what we do, right? And we're just like, oh, yeah, this makes sense. Now what do we do here? We go sector. And we say, let's go take a look at utilities. Utilities.
This is a reminder.
Okay. Now, utilities has 23 stocks. Yeah. Look at these breakouts. Oh, you can even see this one consolidating, broke up, higher high. Look at that. That's our signal. That's our signal. Which of these would we maybe be interested in? I definitely want like big ones, but these are all pretty big here. 40 billion, 68 billion, 80 billion, 18, 14. See, now you're down to 2. I'm not as interested as things like that. It won't have good options. Oh my God, these look so good. Why am I so reluctant sometimes? I just want you to notice, right? Like, it's so easy. Like, I just get like this where I'm just like, I don't like utilities. That's my bad. I own it. I'm going to make a note of it to myself. Don't be such an idiot with utilities, you dummy. Okay. Okay. So that's it. That's how you set it. Now what would I do? Sorry, let me get this back so I can see people's chats in case anybody's chatting. Let's go one sector at a time. There's not a lot here. Diversified. We've got AES and Sempra. I mean, neither look great. I don't think you have to take them. So I would probably be like, nah, I saw too many other things. Independent raw producers. Yeah, I would say one or both of these, right? Regulated electric. That's a big one. PEG looks great. Duke Energy's okay. WEC, I don't know. Southern, PEG is strong. I think you could pick a couple of these. Regulated gas, looks pretty good. I'd probably keep that one. I think we can end up with 5 or 6 utility companies. Nobody in water. Renewable, we have, whoops, no, I don't want to click on you. These guys are pretty new, but look at the momentum there. GEV. Yeah, you know what? I think we're going to end up with like 5 or 6, 7 utility companies. These guys are turning into growth monsters. They all look strong to me as well, press. But look how recent. I mean, a lot of it is just like these, like GEV, CEG. They actually were pretty lackluster until just the last little bit. Everything is going up. That's what we're looking for, momentum. We see momentum. What do? We put it on the list. Put it on the list. All right. Let me just real quickly see if I have a good sample. Which one was the full sample? Yeah, this looks like it. The full sample. What do I have down here? There we go. I've got a little bit. Improved daily execution score. Well, you'd have to first implement a daily execution score where you create like a mechanism with your routines and all the things that you do. And then you score yourself. How well did I follow my plan? Conduct thorough market analysis and develop a daily trading plan before adhere. Okay. Keep detailed trade. So some of this, yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember what I had in there. Okay. 10 minutes over. Not too bad. We have signals. We have a good watch list. We have a good posture score. We have a good Fed. VIX continuing to de-escalate, dollar down, everything looks pretty good. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 15 minutes pre-market. Let's be ready to get some positions on. Let's do some trading. Have a great rest of your Sunday. As always, happy trading.